Dwayne Johnson finally addressed the actor's departure from the DC film franchise as Superman, as Henry Cavill appeared surprisingly in the Black Adam post-credits scene. He has appeared in Zack Snyder's Justice League. It was released in 2021, and Cavill returned to the role of Clark Kent, aka Superman, in Black Adam for the first time since 2017's Justice League. Cavill did, however, announce his departure from the franchise less than 3 months after Black Adam entered theaters, and the actor promised to return as Superman. Johnson was asked about Cavill's exit from Superman on the Oscars red carpet. In an interview with Variety, the Black Adam actor, who had been silent on Cavill's departure, now speaks out regarding the impending DC Universe's recasting of Superman. Johnson compared the current situation to a football team that has new management take over and chooses to fire the head coach and the starting quarterback. What occurred with DC is virtually the same as Johnson's example. Warner Brothers Discovery established DC Studios shortly after Black Adam reached theaters, and James Gunn and Peter Safran were given the reins of the DC Universe property. A younger Clark Kent is the focus of the forthcoming Superman film, Superman Legacy, written by Gunn. There was no room for Cavill's Superman since DC Entertainment chose to take a different route with the Man of Steel. Gunn will likely recruit a fresh actor to play Superman in his film, though casting has yet to begin formally. Uncertain who might ultimately take on the role of Superman in the DC Universe, it will undoubtedly be someone younger than Cavill, 39. Thus, it might take some time before the next Man of Steel is cast. The release of Superman Legacy is scheduled for July 2025. It remains to be seen if Cavill eventually returns to the DC Universe. Despite Johnson's best efforts to revive Superman and Black Adam, Cavill is not scheduled to play the superhero. Henry Cavill's Superman was hurt by the unfavorable reviews for Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, the failure of Justice League, and the absence of a clear strategy for the DC Extended Universe after Justice League. Cavill's Superman was among the DCEU's high points, even among those who disagreed with Snyder's interpretation of the Superman mythos. In Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, Cavill's Superman had the potential to succeed even if the Snyderverse was not revived, but the studio could not find a new course for Henry Cavill's Superman 5 years after Justice League. Henry Cavill last played Superman in the 2017 film Justice League before Black Adam. Justice League was a significant turning point for the DCEU, despite being a commercial disaster plagued by production issues. Several Justice League actors' futures were unknown following the movie's release. Years passed, but there was no news of a new Henry Cavill starring Superman project. It got worse when Shazam included a headless Superman appearance.
Freddie Freeman! This guy taught me everything I know about being a dope superhero. True story. What's going on? My best bud in the whole world?
Superman had a similar appearance in Peacemaker, albeit in silhouette. Both of those instances demonstrated the uncertainty around Cavill's Superman future. Cavill and Johnson found themselves in an awkward and uncomfortable situation. It was due to allowing Cavill to assume he had a second run as the DC hero, only for all those plans and pledges to change immediately. However, after realizing that he would be replaced, Cavill returned to Instagram and echoed Black Adam's moral compass by saying, "The changing of the guard is something that happens. I respect that." Perhaps, now that both celebrities have spoken out about the former Superman's forced retirement, they can put that uncomfortable and disappointing circumstance behind them and move on. 9 years have passed since the debut of Man of Steel, and there still needs to be a sign that the movie will ever receive a proper sequel. Cavill's character wasn't already subjected to a constant game of push and pull between the filmmakers and the executives at Warner Brothers. The bad writing of Superman in the movies was another issue. A genuine Man of Steel 2 was never in the cards because Snyder's DCEU idea was to have a 5-part Superman story. Nevertheless, even after WB abandoned his concept, progress still needed to be made in making another Superman solo film. The Justice League was expected to change how Superman had been portrayed in the previous film. However, Zack Snyder sadly quit the production in May 2017 due to a personal family tragedy.
Getting the cut together has been, once we thought that there was a chance that it could happen, and once we thought I could get this to fans, I think it was really, in that way, it became really important to me once we
Joss Whedon, the director of The Avengers, was then hired by Warner Brothers to complete the film in an uncredited role, drastically altering the tone and a number of subplots. As a result, Superman's character arc from Man of Steel to the theatrical version of Justice League felt fractured and fragmented. Cavill's Superman was also left out of the DC Extended Universe due to the film's commercial and critical disaster. As far as Dwayne Johnson is concerned, he wanted to lead a DC vs. Marvel crossover. The Rock intended to lead a crossover between DC and Marvel and alter the DC universe, which would have focused on his Black Adam. Johnson has mentioned the possibility of directing an epic DC vs. Marvel crossover while promoting the Netflix original film Red Notice. It might include The Rock, Ryan Reynolds, and Gal Gadot in pivotal roles.
We've all known each other for a long time. Dwayne and I have known each other for over 20 years.
Yeah.
And Gal and I have known each other for 44 years.
Yeah.
My work was with both of them. So every day was a dreamy. I think for the three of us, maybe the first time we worked together, the three of us.
He stated, "I think there's a crossover with Black Adam and Wonder Woman, but that's not what we were just talking about today." Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam was quickly abandoned after its terrible box office performance, and the combination of Gunn and Safran was hired to reboot the universe. Teth positioning Adam in the new universe is still debatable because James Gunn is passionate about creating a coherent DCU in the future. The director clarified the situation when asked about Cavill's part in Superman, the legacy film that Gunn is scripting. He told Deadline, "We didn't terminate Henry. Henry never had a role. He made a brief cameo appearance, and that was it for him." Cavill's comeback as Superman turned out to be mere hype, much like many of the lauded claims Dwayne Johnson made while marketing Black Adam. "A lot of people made assumptions that weren't true," continued Gunn, "but for me, it's about who I want to cast as Superman and who the filmmakers want to cast. We need to learn about Gunn's specific ideas for Superman Legacy. He stated that the role he's writing is younger, thus the 39-year-old actor wouldn't fit. But Gunn did accompany his news with a picture from the cherished 12-issue run of All-Star Superman by writer Grant Morrison and artist Frank Quitely. In that scenario, a middle-aged Superman sets out on his last journey. This would be a role that Cavill, if not Cavill himself, would be ideal for. Whatever his future ambitions are for the Man of Steel, Gunn admitted that Cavill wouldn't be part of them and that Warner Brothers abused the actor. Gunn assured the media, "I like Henry, he's a wonderful man. He has been taken advantage of by numerous parties, including previous administrations of this organization. Will Cavill be able to play a different character in the DC universe if that acknowledgement is made? That is unclear, but the actor's next move will be one he controls. However, everyone deserves to be treated with dignity, including extraordinarily wealthy and gorgeous men." Although it's unknown if Cavill's exit from the show was motivated by the prospect of additional Superman appearances, it did happen this fall. Cavill verbally agreed with the studio to pursue future projects. There was no agreement for him to play Superman again.